She said that you need by the fork in the road. You stuck a one-eyed fool. I'm heading for the power. Fall on the red path that leads to you. I keep my love cool and feather. Keep my love a heart of stone. Will you find cool and feather? Need you never lose your way back home. I love golden feathers. You know, there's a lot of beliefs in regards to paying attention when a feather falls into your life, that you should hold on to it. A bit of a gift coming from the sky. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. John O'Keefe here, present and accounted for on this lovely, lovely day. You'll notice that it's chilly down here, so I've got my ugly sweater hat on. Pretty cool hat, isn't it? Don't you love that? Look, I love the pom-pom. I love it. When I wear this hat, it reminds me of Lily Adams, a student of mine, and her mom, and a few other kids who met me in a park here in Atlanta on a very rainy day. We decided to donate to the Ugly Sweater Run, which raised money for health services for disadvantaged youth here in the area. And we ran in the rain for probably a good couple hours, just drenched. So when I put this hat on, I have that memory. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Here, notebook. You probably want one of those. It's a good idea to have as we continue to build on our story of the Blackfeet Nation and the beliefs that they have in regards to how this world came to be. Remember, the whole purpose of this is not to step on any beliefs that you previously have had or that you have right now. Our job is not to disrespect the beliefs of a culture that might be different from ours. This is a safe place. Respect the learning space of others. Treat people with dignity and respect, and manage yourself. Those are the 4 expectations of our tenants here. And I'm going to let that bright sky kind of just come powering through. If it gives you too much of a headache, put on your sunglasses. Get yourself open to a brand new page and title it Our Human Beginnings. That is where we're at. I believe that this is going to be at least a few-part piece right now. We're starting it at a perfect time of the week. What do you know so far? What have you learned? Who are the characters? Where did things happen? Are there positives and negatives? Are there causes to certain things happening? Are there effects for when things do occur? These are the kinds of things that we must pay attention to, because why? We're alive and we live and we exist and we are present. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let us begin, because we have a bunch to read. The sun came down. Obviously, we know who the sun is. Sun is creator sun. The cool thing about this creator is that although he's all forgiving, he's made some bad choices, right? He's made some bad decisions and has to make up for them. Feels guilty for that. And there is a forgiveness in that, because we also recognize that we too are works in progress, that we believe we're doing the best we can under many circumstances. But sometimes, and most of the time, there's something or someone or somewhere else that we could be, so that we could probably be even better. And so as we head into this, we've got the creation of the moon, we have the creation of the earth, we have the creation of the Big Dipper, we have the understanding of why the sun and why the moon passes around. It's constantly chasing, wanting revenge. We have the reason why the snakes are no longer respectable in this world, right? And we also understand where the dinosaurs came from, that they got a little too big and then a giant flood happened. And oh my gosh, all these crazy stories, right? And now, after everything else that has been created, it's time for our human beginning. At least how it is written by Percy Bullchild of the Blackfeet Nation. So that snake life, once again, has been destroyed, except for the smaller ones that came out of the last destruction alive. These smaller snakes also made a vow to destroy Creator's Son's kind as long as they were around. Even in these days, there are poisonous snakes that kill with their venom. True? Yeah. Some of the harmless ones strike too. The larger ones of the warmer countries can strangle those they coil on and kill them that way. So the curses of those very early days go on and on. Time went on ever forward, with the moon or severed leg chasing after her 7 sons and her man, Big Dipper and Creator Son, going forever around the new woman, Mother Earth. Creator Son came down to be with his new bride. At times, he had a chance to, when the moon or severed leg was at rest for a 4-day period and couldn't be seen. Each time he came down to be with her, he sensed something was amiss from their togetherness. He couldn't quite figure it out just yet. I wonder what it is. Coming down to be with her again, she spoke of a little loneliness inside her. She wanted company. Life like her and Creator Son. Before this, they had talked of more life for them on Mother Earth, but no certain or specific kind. Coming down, when she spoke of life like them, that settled the plan. It didn't take long for Creator Son to make his new woman happy. To the water's edge they went. From the mud, Creator Son molded a form from his own shape, his own image. The form completed, Creator Son blew it into its face and at the same time said, "Have the same kind of life we have and live to roam this land." This mud figure came to life as Creator Son blew into its nostrils. It got up from the ground where it had laid and began to walk. Its very first try was very wobbly. Almost each try, he fell back down, but each time he got back up and he became stronger. It wasn't too long before this mud man began to get around like his counterparts. Creator Son, like his mother, Mother Earth, his mind wasn't too good to begin with, but as he got better at things, in all, his mind began to improve as well. As time went by, this new mud man, their new baby in the shape that they were in, got stronger and stronger still. His mind was like that of his parents. It wasn't too very long before he started doing things just like his father and mother did. He was a part of them. As things got better for the new mudman, Creator Son took him out and began to teach him everything he knew of their own life and others. Creator Son communicated with him in a way that he could understand clearly. Creator Son always remembered that perfect life he tried the first time, with this same image of himself and that of the woman too, and how it was destroyed by those wicked snakes through their wickedness. A dream that came to a fast end. Hope against hope that this is the life, again in his own image, that would abound. Live and be every bit like him and his ways and that of Mother Earth too. Together, they would try their best. Day after day, Creator Son was with his new son, the Mudman. He was teaching him all necessary ways of life. This went on for a very, very long time. Creator Son worked with his new son each time he got a chance to come down from his position far out of the void. They were all very close together, loved one another very, very much. Creator Son sensed something was wrong with the new son, Mudman. He wasn't so very happy with this time and his folks anymore. He was beginning to get older. Each time Creator Son came down for his personal visits with the wife, Mother Earth, and the new son, Mudman, he tried to understand their personal needs or personal wants to keep them on the happy side of this life. He was studying Mudman's needs. Mudman seemed to slow, no more interest in what was being taught to him. It had been a long time since his life had come into existence. On one of his visits with Mother Earth and Mudman walking with the new sun, Creator's son heard him say, "If only I had someone like my mother to keep me company." This made Creator's son realize the new son was very lonely, and he was recognizing that he was alone. He needed someone to play with, especially the kind his mother was made like, opposite from him. Creator's son remembered well how he began to yearn for something before he made the first woman severed leg. How good it was to have somebody different than you, someone to develop with, to grow with, to understand. It had to be just as he made things to keep this place a-going for the right of things he made. Something opposite from the way he was made would keep his mind happy, make them want to do more for their lives as they lived a long, long time. Mudman had grown gaunt from that loneliness. Creator's son had to do something for him in a hurry. Before leaving again for that faraway place far out in the void, or nothingness where they now were, Creator's son talked it over with Mother Earth about their son, the Mudman. Creator's son told Mother Earth what he heard from the Mudman's son. "Our new son needs someone made like you to play with and keep him company. He's also alone now, and he's lonely for someone his own size to play with. We are so very busy all the time, we just don't have any time with him. He's lonely for company." Makes total sense, right? I mean, shoot, if anything's been showing me how lonely I can get, man, this COVID time of being at home for such a long period of time, I needed somebody to play with, somebody to hang out with. That's why I was lucky enough to have somebody like Miss Rainey around. Thinking to himself, Creator's son knew he shouldn't be thinking back of those times that were already past. He should be worrying about the Mudman now. He just knew how to go about getting the Mudman's needs. Creator's son waited for a real good time to put his plan to work. It was one of those tiring days. It had been a long day, and all of them were dozing off when each one was sitting. Waking up kind of late, the three of them went to bed. Waking up kind of late, the three of them went to bed. Creator's son wasn't much of a sleeper. His mind was too full all the time. He thought about all that life that was dependent on him, his personal touches to keep them alive. He was fathering and raising all the many different forms of life. It was a lot of work. Up and around to care for all of that life, he went past the Mudman's bed. Mudman was fast asleep. This was the best time for the plan that he had made up in his mind. It was now or never to do what he wanted to do for the Mudman. Some way to help him overcome that loneliness. Using that strange power, Creator's son put the Mudman into a deeper sleep so he wouldn't know what was happening. Kneeling down beside him, Creator's son took out the Mudman's smallest left rib. With this rib, he made an image after the Mudman and himself, and Mother Earth too. The form was like all of them, except it was made after more of Mother Earth, to bear fruit, to bear offspring. Laying the figure down, Creator's son blew on the figure's face and gave it life. As he blew on the face of this figure, formed after the three of them, Creator's son spoke to it. "Now you have a life, as we have, and you are made after our son, the Mudman, to be his mate. But you are made after your mother, Mother Earth, to bear others that will come from you and our Mudman's son. You have breath like we have. The Mudman shall teach you what other things you must learn to do. Most of all, be happy with your new mate and companion throughout time." The rib woman was too very weak after she was created from the Mudman's rib. She too couldn't get up to walk soon after. It took her several times and many days to be able to walk around strongly and by herself. Soon after the creation of rib woman, before the Mudman woke up, the rib woman was squirming around, wriggling and struggling to get up or sit up. She woke up the Mudman as she fell against him several times. The Mudman was so very startled to see another beside him as he woke up. At this time, who they were made no difference to him because he wasn't aware of that. The Mudman just wasn't surprised too long. He knew for some strange reason that he had to help out the newcomer in some way to make this new being comfortable. He also knew that he was to care for this new one the rest of time as they were together. So he was already taught that, right? Character traits. We take care of each other. Those are the rules. That's what we must do. He didn't care about who they were. He just accepted them and said it was time for me to care for them. Jumping up on his feet, the mudman gave this new one water and some food to give it a start in its life. He helped her to down all of this. It made the new one much better afterwards. From that time on, the mudman became a steady servant to the newcomer. This was the main reason for creating the two. The mudman and the rib woman to become inseparable throughout time, to be mates, to bear others in their image, and those of Creator Son and Mother Earth. The very strange powers of our Creator Son gave the two the idea of what should be done, especially Mudman, as the newcomer came along. As time went along, the newcomer got stronger and was able to do many of the things Mudman could. The two romped all through the fields, across the little running waters that were plenty all over. In short, they were having the time of their lives. Sounds like a good place to live. As all this was going on, from the day the newcomer came about from the mudman's ribs, the two didn't have a stitch of clothing to cover any parts of their bodies. Neither of them were ashamed of the other. There wasn't any kind of wrongness about this. It was just normal. This is still so among babies. All babies lay bare naked in their cribs and don't even notice, no matter who's around them. They just aren't ashamed of themselves. Some of the strange precedents of our lives, as we get older, we become more uncomfortable. Day after day, this running and romping went on. At night, when they slept, the two laid down together to keep warm. There just wasn't any shame between them. They never tried to find out about each other. They were just friends. There was no kind of sin between them. Creator Son was always coming down to find out about all his creations and take care of them, to keep them all alive. On these visits, Creator Son taught more and more to his mudman son and to the rib woman. Many of these times, just him and his son went out for those strolls. Those we call workhouse nowadays. It was to teach him of the self-survival for his companion, the rib woman. On one of these visits with his family, Creator Son wanted to familiarize his son, the mudman, with his companion that was given to him. They had been together for a very long time now and must know what this life was all about. As they were walking along and Creator Son was thinking about future beings, the people, he turned to his mudman son and spoke to him about the future of all that was going forward. He told the son, "My son, you have someone to be with as you wanted. Your wish as it is. The companion you have with you now is made after your mother, Mother Earth. She is made to be able to make others. Your woman is made to do that as well. Images of you and she shall come from these people, providing that you put your life with hers. This new companion of yours is made exactly like Mother Earth. It has to come through you and planted in her. That will bring your children. All of this you do not know yet. There will be a time that will come when you understand what I'm talking about." Mudman was listening very carefully to his father. After this very important lesson, the two went on to camp, and soon after, Creator Son departed for that new home far out into the emptiness. For a while, the mudman was thinking of what was told to him by his father, and in a short while, it was all forgotten. He truly didn't understand it very much, and besides, he was too busy with his companion playing and having fun and romping. There was no other worries in him just yet. The two played at will all over the vast fields and hills, the creeks and the many places as they skipped, runned, and romped. No danger of any kind to be wary of, no sickness to think of at that time. There was just any kind of trouble to worry about as the two played on and on and on, Mudman and Rib Woman. Since the making of Rib Woman, it had been a long time now. All this time since the two were put together by Creator Son. There wasn't a stitch of clothing on either one of them, and the two didn't realize that they were opposite from one another. Without this thought between them, there just wasn't any worries to be noticed. The two played on those fields of happiness. Around that time, the weather was somewhat like normal days of this time. There were times when the air was cold at night, even in the daytime too. The two, Mudman and his rib woman, would keep each other warm at night. They loved each other and they honored each other. And she began to wonder. The mudman came to realize what his father was saying. To be together is true love. The act made the mudman realize that this is what really he was yearning for, a fulfillment between the two of them. Before this, he didn't really know, and so he was lonely until now. He understood what his father, creator, son began to talk about: love. Another one of the precedents of life, the embarrassment of being naked, or was being naked. And that, being seen by somebody else, was embarrassing as well. It was now altogether different in their living then. And at the beginning of Mudman's life, Ribwoman and Mudman had to be covered at all times after this, and they wouldn't be seeing one another like they used to. They were ashamed of themselves, embarrassed to be seen. Many things, both good and bad, were experienced by these two people that began the human life. Creator Son gave us all wonderful life of togetherness with both and everybody in this world. A life to fulfill both lives. Our Creator Son, some time ago, way back, many years ago, went through what was being taught of the Mudman and Ribwoman: love. It took a seed to reproduce another fruit in the ground. Be it a plant life, any form of life, a seed planted would come out just the same image of the parent. All the male life, especially the human life. And this went for the same for the females. They were to honor each other throughout their lives. All of the life was given to find a companion, and one was chosen to be with for the rest of our days. We were to bear more of the same as we lived along with one another. We were to plant seeds. We were to grow. We were to have fruit. This was the sacred commandment of our Creator Son. Our Father, Creator Son, gave us all the commandments to live by. He is the only creator of all life, one maker. There isn't another one like him to exist anywhere, no matter how many million light years, as the astronomer talks, away from this earth or wherever. There is no one like Creator Son. He alone gave us a commandment that was to be used by all, especially the human being. The commandment was just plain: be honest to life and be honest to all life. This one commandment covered everything. Be honest. Wow. That got confusing for a little while, didn't it? Got all chummy for a little bit. I felt like there was love and there was togetherness and there was this relationship that was building, and understanding of why you were truly here, the caring for one another, the honor, the respect, and the honesty, right? The honesty that we are here for one another. Male, male, female, female, male, female. However we look at that, we are to look for our connectedness with each other and all living things, not just humans. I love this. Be honest. We have all lost that one lone commandment by our Creator Son that covered all of our wrongs. Our Indian life had one of the truest forms of religion before the coming of the European. This must be Percy speaking again. We led a life according to our Creator Son's commandment, which all of us were given to live by. The other nationalities, other than the Indian, broke that one great commandment. They broke away from it for the want of riches, for the want of greed, for the want of power, and to be notable. This is still going on these days yet. Lust for power, lust for riches, lust for everything. Every day we hear of this, no matter how high up in politics they might be. That lust for sin is always there. The want for more. Gosh, do you remember hearing that when we were reading Where the Mountain Meets the Moon? More, more, more. Those European newcomers shamed us Indians into following that corrupt way of life and belief. In many cases, their way of faith is still somewhat confusing to the Indian because of their persecution of one another. We were led astray from our true beliefs and faith by these newcomers. We were led astray from our true religion. We were brainwashed by those so-called missions that once flourished on all Indian reservations and by those non-Indians that operated them. The Indian learned many bad things from the mission schools. We forsaked true Creator's Son over the coming of the white man. All of our Indians have broken that one big and great commandment by our Creator's Son. One big commandment that covered all of the 10 commandments, any commandment that any other person has ever shared. That one big great commandment was always be honest throughout your life. I truly do not think that there is even one that is honest anywhere in the world. This is true because we Indians have taken all other religions, and it leads us all into a very corrupt life. I'm not believed by anyone. Just think of your presidents, congressmen, senators, and all the rest of them that have those high executive jobs. What are they truly doing for anyone? Think of it. These religions are foreign to the Indian, but we were forced into it. Also, this white man religion is quite contrary to their coming to this land. They came for the freedom of religion, but it wasn't freedom for the native of this land. They were brushed aside by those so-called missionaries and were replaced by the white man religion that was forced on them. They were told that they were devil worshippers, their own true Indian religion. How nervy could the white man be? We, the Indian, as we were called recently by our supposed to-be teachers of life, have forsaken that truest form of understanding taught to us by our Creator's Son. We were pushed from our culture, our tradition, our truest form of religion, the laws of our Creator's Son, guidelines that we were to follow. Everyone in this world was given that guideline. The teachings all were to follow by our great Creator's Son. This world wasn't given by two makers. Everything was given by one, and that was Creator's Son. He's still alive and will be for the rest of time. I, for one, will never accept another maker or creator. I truly know my Father, Creator's Son, made all of life as it is on Mother Earth. In many, many ways, he reveals to us the people of Mother Earth. The food we eat, the air we breathe, are the works of the Son. It is his elements that come forth from his power of light, power of life, for all of life to exist. The Son provides this life-giving element the world over as he goes around this planet, or as we go around him, or whatever. As this Mother Earth turns towards the east, it also slowly turns to the sides where we get our turn of the heat. It pulls forth in those powerful elements to give growth and breath to his children. When our turn for the heat from this power comes to our side of Mother Earth, fresh food comes out of the body of Mother Earth. We, the many forms of life, readily to take our food from her body, to make us grow, to get fat, or for the next coming cold as our Creator's Son goes to take care of the other side of Mother Earth. There isn't a place that our Creator's Son doesn't or cannot provide for. He takes good care of all of his creations. It's up to us to take the use of that life-giving food they both put out for us all, Mother Earth and Creator's Son. Interesting. An example to consider. Our true Creator's Son isn't a white man's son, and it isn't only an Indian son. It isn't any one nationality's son. No certain one of the many nationalities can claim our true Creator's Son. It's for all of us and provides for all of us. We all breathe and all live by his elements of life. Creator's Son doesn't discriminate. He isn't prejudiced to anyone, but treats everyone the same. He isn't like some of our people that haven't any respect for anyone except for themselves, their kind, or their own people. Creator's Son respects all of us, if we respect him. This is the reason that I, probably alone, do not believe in any other maker or creator, just the Creator's Son. He's my Father and truest maker of all. The mud man and his woman, the rib woman, progressed as they went along in their lives. Routine things were learned by the two of them, and their happiness and togetherness got stronger and stronger. They had learned many things that must be learned of people and of togetherness, what we would call love. man and woman, man and man, woman, woman, our way of life. One day the two were walking and You know what? Hold on a minute. I feel like we're going into another story of theirs. And I think that this is probably going to be a good place for us to stop because I'm looking at the clock right now. So here's the deal. That was a pretty heavy day. My goodness. We found intimacy between two people. We found honesty at the center of everything. We got a little picture of Percy Bullchild having a conversation with us about why he has a hard time with another culture's religion being pushed upon him. Why he can recognize that his beliefs are the strongest because they're the deepest for him. But at the same time, he believes that there is no color to the sun, right? There's no specific nationality. It is an all-loving sun. It's an all-caring sun. It is an all-purposeful sun. And I find that that's pretty impressive. I mean, you talk about the title here. I mean, who is our major main character of this book? The sun, right? Why? Because everything comes from that. And I find that to be an amazing place to stop for today. And I don't know. I'd love to get your perspective on this. I'd love to get what you guys are thinking about this. It's pretty heavy stuff. Got some love. We got some creation. We got sun. We got honesty. We got negative experiences. Come back and be with me tomorrow. Let's find out what happens next. I love you. I hope you have a great day. Without further ado, adios and get out of here.